Greetings, guys. For today, you should have had 2 leaves. For those leaves, we're going to do the first of probably a few nature journals. And the goal here isn't to make your drawing perfect or even pretty. It's to just record what it is you see. What observations can you make? And you want to go so much further than just saying it's a leaf or it grew on a tree or it grew on a bush. You want to make as detailed of observations as you can. And think about turning your picture even into a diagram with words and numbers and lines and connections and shapes. So you want to try and draw everything you see and portray that in the best way that you can. So you're going to take some time right now and record those observations. You should have 2 leaves, so you need 2 pages. You will be scanning and uploading these into Google Classroom. Be ready to share them. And remember, it's not about this being pretty or perfect. It's about recording the observations that you make. You should have a full page recording these observations. So please take this time to just think about what do you see? What do you notice? What does this make you think about? What does it feel like? How can you represent those things on your page? Hi guys, this is the agenda for today. Remember that your extra credit is due today and you will be having a test next week. That test will be on Thursday and Friday respectively, depending on whatever your class period is. So today we are going to be doing our first nature journal. So you should already have your 2 leaves. So if you don't have those, please push pause and go get them. I also have uploaded a few pictures of leaves into your Google Classroom. So it is in the part of your Google Classroom, and it'll say pictures of leaves for nature journal. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take 10 minutes and take a look at your leaves. You should have those. And you should have a blank page per leaf. So what you're going to be doing here, and you can just see a very simple sketch here on the side, you're using numbers, words, pictures, and shapes to describe what you see. Use more of whatever one of those elements. If you feel like you are much better at using words, use more words. If you are better at representing something in a drawing or an image, use more of that. Use shapes, use arrows, use lines to link things together. Spend some time really making some detailed observations. Think about how you can represent different elements in that leaf. Just as a reminder, this is not about drawing anything pretty. The goal is to document in the best way that fits you. So there isn't a right or wrong. It's just an observation. The only wrong observation is no observation. So if you start to stress and worry about your picture, turn it into a diagram. Add labels, explanations everywhere to record what you observe. Remember to use 1 page per leaf. You will have 10 minutes to do that. Please press pause right now and spend the next 10 minutes on your journal, your observation. Okay, so now you guys should be back. And hopefully in that time, you've gotten some really good observations. So you should also have this week had access to the website or the app called iNaturalist. So I want you to use that and try and figure out what sort of leaf you have. So right now, use iNaturalist in some way, shape, or form, and there will be a question in the quick write about that, about using iNaturalist and about what you actually had. So go ahead and press pause while you whether on your desktop or a phone or a device, you use iNaturalist in that app to identify what leaf you have. The next thing we're going to be doing is correcting your Jamboard, your energy pyramid. Last class, I walked you through how to move your stickies and rearrange. So the first thing you're going to do after your nature journal today is you guys are going to pull your Jamboard off of Google Classroom. So you're going to unsubmit and correct it. We are going to be spending some time in breakout rooms going through and sharing your nature journal and going through and correcting that Jamboard. The next thing is you may have noticed that in your Google Classroom, I have put in something called a Padlet. So in here, I have 5 different descriptions of the differences between food webs and food chains. You need to read each explanation and you assign a rank to which description you think is the most accurate. You're going to add a comment to at least one. So down here, you can see where it says rate. So right here, you would then decide how many stars to give it. So once I click on it, then I can assign it anywhere from 1 to 5. So 1 would be like no, that would be like you strongly disagree, or it would be like equivalent to 0, and 5 would indicate you strongly agree. You can rank all of them, but you only need to comment on 1. Your comments should be very specific. Include examples. Why do you agree with that one the most? So you can't just say, I agree. It has to include the why or the why not. You can find the one that you don't feel like is the most correct and explain why it could have more to it. So you need to be specific. So you need to comment on at least 1. All right, so after our Padlet, the next thing you're going to be doing is in your Google Classroom, you have something that says ecosystem balance. So here you have a 3-minute YouTube video and you've got a Jamboard. So for this Jamboard, what you're going to do is take a look at our drawing over here. So you need to think about if a disease killed off a population of frogs. So here, the frog is the center. So imagine that a disease killed off this population of frog. We need to think about how would all the other species be affected. So you're going to add a pink sticky note for each species. So here it would be perch. You would add a pink sticky note for the perch. Then you would add an arrow just like this. Oops. Nope, go away. So then you're going to add an arrow to indicate what is going to happen. So like for this one, oh, this is not liking me clicking on it. So you can see that it says insects up, frogs down, foxes stable. Those are your only options, either an up arrow, a down arrow, or stable. So you need to, after watching that video, make some interpretations and inferences about what's happening to each of these critters here, from your fleas to the beetles to the slugs, if something happened to the frog. So we want to think about the connections. If something happens to one species, what happens to the others? So again, our only options here are down arrow, the word stable, meaning it does not change, or up arrow. So the next thing you're going to do is you have a question. So this one has to do with wolves in Yellowstone. And this is a really interesting application of what happens to the balance in ecosystems. So the question is, how did the reintroduction of wolves affect the ecosystem in Yellowstone? And you're going to list all the ways that the ecosystem was affected. And you have to watch this video. And there's a ton of information about this. If this is something that you are interested in, you could find mountains of documentation. So wolves were essentially removed from Yellowstone and then they were reintroduced. And it's very interesting how just this one species greatly affected the ecosystem, both when they were removed and when they were reintroduced. So you're going to watch this. This is really the ecosystem, the science in action. And then you'll submit that. So make sure you're using complete sentences and you're using that video in order to respond to that question. The final thing you're going to do today is this game, and you may be doing this during flex time, called the Antarctic Food Web. And this is a pretty cool game here. So you're going to go through the entire animation and you're going to build a food web. Check your answers if there's any mistakes. Go back through the trophic levels chart, fix the mistakes. And when you've checked your answers and you have no mistakes, you're going to take a screenshot, or you can even right click and save the image, depending on your device, of your completed food web. And that's what you insert into this document. That's the evidence of your work and how you will earn points. So this is not due during class time. So take your time on this, have fun with it. Let that be the last thing that you do. Have a great day, guys. See you soon.